Janet MacLellan is a PEI artist that I've known for most of my life and have admired her work for about that long too. We talked about how she made art a priority while having a nursing career and raising kids, and talked about how art is everywhere and everything, and how a piece of art shows how the artist sees the world.
Art, I want you. Art, you make it pretty hard not to. And my heart is trying hard here to follow you, but I can't always tell if I ought to.
Okay, I'm so glad to be sitting here with Janet MacLellan at her beautiful lakeside cottage. Thanks for having me, Janet.
Oh, you're welcome.
I'm really curious about how you got your start painting, because one of the reasons why I wanted to interview you is because my first memory of somebody else teaching me how to paint was yourself at Cardigan
community school.
Yeah, community school. And so I'm really curious if there was something similar when you were growing up, or did you come by it naturally?
I think I came by it naturally, but I remember my mother, who we didn't realize was anything more than a wonderful mother, going to the first community schools in St. Teresa's and learning to paint and being very good at it. Yeah. And I guess through the years, I was a little better at drawing than some of my other grade companions and whatever. But I never ever recognized that skill until many, many years later when I'd look back at something and I think, oh, yeah, that is okay.
So your mom was taking lessons, and
Yeah, she just took lessons and blossomed as just for things for family and whatever, and that's probably the same type of art I do too. It's not it's just for enjoyment and for the enjoyment of others.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And yet, yeah, you've kept doing it your whole life, it sounds like.
Yes. Yeah.
Have you done shows? Have you shown your work? And
Yeah, I have several times in Beam Hair was very instrumental in having me do a show in Georgetown, and that turned out very nice. And that was kind of my first recognition as anything public.
yeah.
And
when would
over
that
the
have
years, that would have been probably in the 80s.
been?
Other things I just did one at a time and then I always had a very busy career otherwise as a nurse and as a mother and was involved in many things.
Yeah. How do you fit art in when you have a career and you have kids and all that stuff?
Well, that's probably the most difficult part, and I'd probably what would change was some inspiration or some need to do something. That had become priority
Yeah.
for a while until it was done. It wasn't. I never had a studio, so sometimes the thoughts of dragging everything out would keep me from doing something. But I'd always be sketching, or even when I was at some important meeting, I'd have a little sketch on the side of my paper that later I'd look at and think, oh, but so I guess it was always on my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Clearly.
And I don't think the painting part took as much time in my life as the thinking part, where in every aspect of my life, I think the art has a priority, whether it was buying clothes or or decorating a cake or whatever it would be. I people would say that I had a skill that I didn't hardly recognize myself.
So, do you think it was other people that pushed you more to, create enough to have a show in the 80s, or was it, or did you know that that's something that you wanted to do?
I think I had maybe a time when that was right for me to do things for a show. I also did at that time. I did some work for sales,
Mhm.
And I do have some art pieces that are international, so that's
Mhm.
kind of makes me proud. It's not that many, but it was that others had that interest.
Right,
And
yeah.
I for a while I did more. I guess it would be considered more like craft than art, where I found interesting rather than a stretched canvas. I found interesting pieces of wood and various things like that that I painted on, and I had became because I grew up on a farm. I was always very interested in farm animals and did a lot of folk art type paintings
Mhm.
that were interesting to people.
Mhm.
I never became rich being an artist, but I think I pleased people because even yet a long time later, I'll meet someone on the street and they'll say, "Oh, yeah, I still have that painting."
Yeah.
So that always pleases me.
You sure, yeah. And your work will live on
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
on,
yeah.
which is
And certainly, uh, I I was more interested when I did something and the family person was interested or it just happened to be their birthday or whatever.
mhm,
Uh, so my work is spread out in that way
mhm.
within family.
Yeah.
Even years later, I'll see it in their house or they'll have it, and that was encouraging.
Do you still have a connection to the paintings that you've made in the past? Like, do you think about them, or do you kind of maybe sometimes forget that you've done it and then you see it in someone's living room?
Yes, that has happened, and that has happened, and even behind you is a painting I did in 1993, I guess, during a thunderstorm that I was a little I was always cautious of thunderstorms in my earlier days,
Mhm.
and I did this, painting of it was supposed to be myself and my cousins on the, beach minding all the children, and,
Yep.
it became a kind of a centerpiece in our home here.
It's perfect.
It's not, I guess it's more unique than precious.
2 things can be true at the same time.
Yeah.
And it looks like you made the frame as well for that one, did
Yes,
you?
and I know I have a painting at the Heritage Centre that, from a story, Nora told me about a tsunami that came into Cardigan in the early 1900s, and I
Mhm.
that kept in my mind, and I did a painting of that. That's
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So it's that kind of thing that would inspire me more so uh, than somebody saying, "Well, I want to picture painting my mother's farmhouse," or something like that, because
Mhm,
that
mhm.
wouldn't necessarily or do things that you see, like, commercially done over and over again. I would do a one of a kind,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
I'd always regret that maybe something would be popular and, not be able to not to be interested or able to do it over and over again.
Well, that's what printmaking is
Yeah,
for.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, I do get the sense that weather is a big theme for you maybe, or a big inspiration. Do you think that's true?
Well, probably as the ones here at my cottage, probably. Flowers,
Mhm.
people I've tried to do some people, they're just, interesting characters,
Right.
that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. You say that you've had a few people kind of pushing you to do shows and that sort of thing. Have you ever, like, I'm sure you've heard over and over again, like, "Why aren't you doing this for a career? You know, you're
Yeah,
so great
yeah.
at it." Did you consider trying to shift into that kind of, like, mode?
N not necessarily because my career was family and nursing,
Yeah.
and that's where I made my career, and it was nice sometimes to get a little extra money for a painting, but that was never my interest at all to
Mhm.
do something for a commercial value.
Yeah. Do you think it would have changed how you painted or why you painted, if obviously why you painted?
Yeah.
If
Um,
being creative for money is something that some people just really don't wanna do at all because it
yeah,
maybe taints it or, it
yeah.
makes it less special or something.
Mhm. I would say it just would not interest me.
Yeah.
Before we were talking about recipes, and it's never interested me to make the same kind of cookie all the time.
Yeah. 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 We're the
And
same
I
in
guess,
that one.
or my meals, I think I take on that kind of flair of being self-motivated at the time to do.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I look at my art the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think everyone is an artist in their own way?
Uh, I think that a lot of people, well, they immediately think, "Well, I can't do that." And they don't recognize that what they do I is often artistic and or how they go about it, but it's looked at pretty pictures as being, an artist,
Mhm.
where sometimes how I think design and art and how you do things all comes together. And, yes, there are people that are great accountants that couldn't be artists, but that's their mindset.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
and, as I can't understand what they can't understand what I do, but still they have an interest and a certain, uh, way of thinking that they don't hardly recognize themselves, and that might be in the house they build or the clothes they buy or
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
and yet it's not, presentable work, but it's there.
Mhm. Yep. So it seems to me that you paint realistically. Like you want to paint a goose or you want to paint a landscape or you want to paint, but I'm wondering if you've ever painted something and then seen an extra meaning in it after or said, "Oh, you know what I think I actually painted there was this." Has that ever happened to you?
Not so much. I guess it's just the way I see things.
Mhm.
I'm not into, uh, the other world kinda stuff as much
Yeah.
as, if that's what you're meaning. I could look at the clouds and see a dog and a cat and a angel, but not necessarily, I look at other paintings. I have a fair interest in other people's artwork for sure, and even in books I read and uh, that I purchase or magazines or
Mhm.
work that's in the Architectural Digest, and that oh, the colors are nice, but the meaning of the abstracts it doesn't appeal to me that very much.
Yeah, but even like I think somebody could look at the painting that's behind me of the beach and think of an entirely different story of what's,
What it's all about, yeah.
yeah,
I guess I'm just too down to earth for that.
Every artist has their own way. How do you know when a painting is finished?
Uh, when it's gone out of my reach that I can't touch it again.
You mean physically or metaphorically?
Phys physically, and yeah, I could always think maybe some little improvement or whatever, and have gone back to something that I have in storage for a while and, think, "Oh, I can, do this and that,"
Mm,
and sometimes have done that, but usually enough is enough.
you just put it away and
Yeah.
you walk away and that's done. Yeah.
Or give it away or whatever. Of course, you're always learning something new. I
Mhm.
think that's one thing that, I appreciate that I'm always open and searching for, you know, something I haven't seen before or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it could be technique or it could be just visually or just learning, whatever.
Yeah. If you have been trying new things regularly throughout your life, have you noticed that your paintings have changed over the years?
Improved, maybe,
Yeah.
improved. And I think I probably stayed in the same framework of things that I'm interested in
Mm,
rather
mhm,
than what other people would want,
mhm.
if that makes sense.
It does,
Yeah.
yeah, because I think a lot of people are out there working in the more professional fields and they're feeling like they need to produce specific kinds of work in
Yeah.
order to make money or to
Yeah.
satisfy whoever.
Yeah.
And I'd say it's very freeing to just stick to do whatever you
Well,
want to do.
it's not against learning something else, but that's I would say if somebody commissioned, I want this type of work done, I'd probably say, well, there are other people that do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, rather than me.
Right. Yeah. But if somebody commissioned you to do something that is right in your wheelhouse and you wanted to and had the time,
Oh,
you
yes.
would
Yeah, and
always
I
you'd
would
say yes.
put the effort into doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes my artwork is not necessarily on a stretched canvas. It's some work maybe at the church where I've done work
Mm-hmm.
on the statues or pick colors for somebody's house or that kind of thing. And I still
Murals
consider
on your own walls.
I still consider that to be a part of my artistic ability.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think spending a whole life being creative like that and thinking creatively helped you in other areas, like, in your nursing or even in raising
Oh
kids?
yes, it's all one of a kind. I think that when you have a creative mind, it helps you in every aspect. And maybe it's just doing things in a little different way, or your approach to people, or your tolerance of uh, people or things or life at sometimes that you
Yeah.
can kind of. I don't know whether it is. Get away from the very bad situation by thinking, having something you have to think, or thinking of a new way of doing the same old thing that
Mm-hmm.
somebody else hasn't thought of before.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's it, right? Artists tend to create something from nothing, so they're used to coming up with solutions when there
Yeah,
doesn't seem to be
yeah.
something there.
I guess I've been lucky too. I've done some traveling and seen art from other countries, and that has always been. That's what I'd remember about going somewhere. Is what certainly what things taste like and what what I've seen, and
Yeah.
that rather, you know, the art in Italy and other even though I might have seen it in a book before, but just seeing the genuine thing or seeing the colors
Mm-hmm.
of when you travel of different places.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a favorite place that you've traveled to?
Uh, I was very glad to go to Europe because it made me understand how we live here,
Yeah.
and wha- especially uh, especially I found that when I went to Italy, I said, "Oh, this is why New York is the way it is," or with
Mhm.
the housing and whatever. I remember genuinely having that feeling,
Mhm.
uh, and it just expands your mind, that's all, and
Yeah,
it's good for the soul.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you live in New York?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, uh, for almost 20 years, yeah,
Mhm.
but life was much for us was much the same as it is here, kids, suppers, getting to work in time.
Right, yeah. Did you do any were you in New York City or were you
In Brooklyn,
in Brooklyn? Yeah. Did you do any painting of I don't see any paintings around of urban
No,
scapes.
cityscapes.
Yeah.
No, maybe more people, but not
Right,
yeah.
yeah. Hmm.
I'm always kind of interested in seeing, impressions of New York, but not it's not my thing to do or to, display.
Yeah, gotcha. And what about, favorite artists? Do you have any favorite artists that you really loved to go see in person, their work, or that you just like?
Yes, well, I did see the Van Gogh,
Mm,
early paintings in Toronto one time at an art exhibit, and then we did see the, uh, imagery one that came around, and I really like that,
mm,
and, I always loved Lindy Climo and the paintings from the Group of 7.
right, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and paintings that friends and other people have done have always interested me greatly.
Mhm.
And there's no artist I don't like. I might not hang them on the wall, but I love to look at how they see the world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Are your kids artists as well?
Uh, Somewhat, yeah,
Yeah.
somewhat. Not necessarily painting, but music and carving, and just the way they see things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can see where their art comes out, even though they are of an age where they don't recognize it necessarily themselves.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I I'm always I probably think about it more now than produce,
Mm-hmm.
but I just have I have that interest, and I'm 87, so I'm hoping it stays with me for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I think it
yeah,
will.
and I really was always very interested, like, in community school and that, and teaching others that thought they didn't often they thought they couldn't see their, potential,
Mm-hmm.
and and teaching children and whatever, and, just even I save a lot of the drawings and the things of the children, because they later on, then you can look back and see that these were very worthwhile.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think for myself, I was taking those lessons right around the same time that I was playing guitar, starting to play guitar, and
Yeah.
starting to write my own songs. So I think that was all
All your
connected and
yeah,
helping to get me
get you started. Well, I hope I
started.
was helpful.
I think so. Yeah. And you've been very helpful
Uh-huh.
today. Thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, okay. I'm glad to do it, or glad to speak to you.
I wondered what would be the worth of my words in the world if I write them and then recite them. Are they worth being heard? Just because I like them, does that mean that I should mic them and see what might unfurl? And I think of the significance of my opinions here. Is it significant to be giving them? Does anybody care? Just because I'm into this, does that mean that I should live like it? And really, do I dare? Art, I want you. Art, you make it pretty hard not to. And my heart is trying hard here to follow you, but I can't always tell if I ought to. So I pondered the point of my art in this life. If I make it, will someone take it and think that it's genuine? Would they be glad that I did, 'cause they got something good out of it? Would they leave me and be any more inspired? And I question the outcome of the outpouring of myself. If I tell everyone my stories, would this keep me healthy and well? Would it give me purpose, and to this world some sort of service? Is it worth it? How could I tell? Art, I want you. Art, you make it pretty hard not to. And my heart is trying hard here to follow you,